Thanks very much, Robin, and welcome everyone here this evening. As Robin mentions, this is the 7th annual awards event that Ondine and I have presided over, and time has gone very quickly for us. Of course, time doesn't go as quickly for the 500 million animals who are raised in appalling conditions in factory farms in Australia each year. They lead lives of such suffering and depravity. Every second must seem like an eternity for them. Those animals are the real reason why we are all here this evening. For my own benefit and for good corporate governance, I needed to bear witness to the suffering of animals, specifically in factory farms. Those of you who were here at this event last year might remember the story I told about my first visit to a factory farm for pigs. There were 230,000 piglets and 23,000 female pigs for breeding, in cages of steel and cement, in sow and farrowing crates, the biggest factory farm in the Southern Hemisphere, right here in New South Wales. I remember the one piglet who came up to me, so inquisitive, nuzzling me with her nose. I wanted to say, "Good day, how are you going, mate?" But I couldn't. I had a lump in my throat that has remained there since my visit to that factory farm. I'm happy to say that things are finally starting to change. This year, Australia has seen the beginning of the erosion of factory farming. In the past few months, there has been major progress on the banning of sow crates or sow stalls, first by the Tasmanian government. Then Coles announced that from 2014 it would only source pork from farms that do not use sow stalls. And 2 weeks ago, the Australian Pork Industry Association, APL, agreed to voluntarily phase out sow stalls altogether by 2017, which is a major step. And finally, only yesterday, the New Zealand government announced it too would ban sow stalls. Their use will be restricted to 4 weeks from 2012 and banned altogether in 2015, leaving clean and green Australia in the dust. Voiceless has been at the forefront of this issue since we began, funding research and campaigns undertaken at all levels by other animal protection groups, as well as producing our own reports and material to let consumers know what is going on behind those factory farm walls, which have signs quarantine. Our first report was entitled "From Paddocks to Prisons, Pigs in New South Wales," printed in 2005, and is still available on our website. It is consumer pressure that has led to the sow stall bans, and this is only the beginning. At this point, I'd like to acknowledge the great work that Animals Australia have done in this regard. Lynn White from Animals Australia, who is due to be here this evening with us. I'm not sure if she's in the crowd. Lynn, are you here? She is great. Right now, as we speak, the ABC's 7:30 report is using footage Lynn filmed on her latest trip to the Middle East in a damning expose of the live export industry. You'll be able to watch the report online when you get home, and of course do your bit to put pressure on the government to end this cruel live export trade once and for all. The more we can raise awareness, the more consumers will demand food that comes from ethical sources, and the more change the factory farming industry will be forced to make. We're here tonight to celebrate the achievements and hard work of those who are working to raise awareness to bring change for the animals. The reality is that factory farms should be abolished and animals allowed to run free as their nature and our nature dictates. As you might know, there has been change within Voiceless. We were sad to see our corporate counsel, Katrina Sherman, leave us this past month to pursue international opportunities in the United States. But we are pleased that she accepted our invitation to join the Voiceless board, and we look forward to her continued involvement. fact, she gave a talk a few nights ago in the States to the Massachusetts Bar under the Voiceless umbrella. Katrina has been with Voiceless since the start. She was a wonderful asset, instrumental in building the animal law movement in Australia up into the growing force it is today. Our animal law lecture series this year was our biggest yet. We hosted Joyce Tischler, who is the co-founder and general counsel of the Animal Legal Defense Fund in the United States, who gave an inspiring lecture to over 1,000 lawyers across the country in 10 days, including 9 leading university law schools with strong support from the deans of law. David Weisbrod, who was the head of the Law Reform Commission and is now at Macquarie, is telling me that Macquarie would like to join as well, which we'd be delighted seeing that David's been a major supporter of the rights for animals. The Governor of New South Wales, Marie Bashir, attended our lecture series this last year to launch Australia's newest animal law textbook, to which Katrina contributed a chapter on the regulation of farm animals. The Governor could not be with us tonight due to a prior arrangement, but Her Excellency has asked me to convey to all the 2010 awardees her congratulations and warmest wishes. It was not long ago at last year's lecture series that Justice Michael Kirby, who is or was with us tonight, he was interviewed and also had a run-off. Michael, you're not here anymore? I had a chat to him a bit earlier. Michael launched Australia's first animal law textbook, which Voiceless sponsored. It is really a testament not only to the growth, but to the calibre of the animal protection and animal law movements that these books have been launched by such esteemed dignitaries. I'd like, obviously, tonight to acknowledge some of the people who are with us here this evening. And this is not exclusive. There are many, many others. Firstly, my son-in-law, Dr. Draw Ben-Ami, who is now heading up the new think tank for kangaroos at UTS, together with... Take a stand up, Draw. Draw is now heading up the new think tank for kangaroos at UTS, together with Professor Stuart White, which is called Think, with 2 Ks at the end, which you will hear more about later. Draw is going to give a short expose of what they are doing in this new think tank, which was launched this week. Elaine Morris. Elaine. Elaine heads up Voiceless's, she's head of Voiceless's operations, and the team, Kelly and Suzanne, together with Elaine, have done a terrific job coordinating and organising this evening's awards event. I'm sure there's no one here who hasn't spoken to Elaine in the last 10 minutes. Our 2 very new, important staff members are here tonight, Dr. Anne-Marie Johnson and Ruth Hatton. Could you both stand up as well? Thank you. Thank you. Anne-Marie comes to us from the non-profit organisation Do Something. Prior to that, the National Trust, as our new head of corporate and communications. And Ruth is coming on board tomorrow, but she started officially yesterday, as our new legal counsel and communications officer from Clayton Utz in Brisbane. In Brisbane. And she relocated to Sydney specifically to take up this job. Welcome to both of you, and it's going to be a long and wonderful association. Incidentally, 75 candidates applied for the 2 positions that we had on offer post-Katrina and post-Kelly Blaney, who has done a marvellous job for us as our communications officer, and Kelly is off to the Blue Mountains, and we wish her luck, Kelly. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank Kelly Hussey Smith, who is named as one of the 10 rising visionaries in visual art, and whose extraordinary work we screened earlier as you were arriving. I think it's still up on the screens. Thank you for letting us show your work, Kelly. I'm sure we will be seeing much more of you in the future. I'd also like to acknowledge Nikki Sutterby and Fiona Cork, who are with the Australian Society for Kangaroos. We thank them for giving permission to us to screen their commercial for the first time here this evening. I won't say any more about it. You will all see it later, and I doubt that you'll ever forget it. I'd like to thank our sponsors for tonight's event. Charlie Teo, who is operating again. He's operating every single night, morning and day, but he's a strong supporter, as are his family. The Teo family are here this evening, and they are patrons of this event this evening. They've taken on the patronage of this event. So, Genevieve, thank you very much to the somewhere around. Yeah. We also have Nudie Foods. We have Leanne Rossler, who made the beautiful recipient trophies, which you'll see. Jeremy at Chameleon for designing our wonderful invitations. Sydney Lord Mayor Clover Moore, who was due to come, but has 3 or 4 other meetings going on at the same time. She might pop in a little bit later. And the City of Sydney Venues for their support of this event in subsidising the venue hire. And Holly Throsby and Bree Van Ryk for their performance this evening. Thank you all. I'd also like to mention our grant and prize sponsors, particularly the Voiceless Council member and longtime friend Sabina van der Linden Wolanski for sponsoring the 2010 Voiceless Australian Museum Eureka Prize, which this year went to researchers for their work on chicken sentience. It's a wonderful amount of work that they've done on this, and I was president of the Australian Museum at that stage. Unfortunately, Sabina had to go into hospital yesterday, so she isn't here tonight, but our thoughts are with her. We also owe a debt of gratitude to Biodistributors Tasmania, who have sponsored one of tonight's grants, Kevin Garber from Melon Media, who has also sponsored a number of grants. There are also a number of sponsors here tonight who do not wish to be publicly named. I want to thank you all for your generous support. And our general sponsors, Hunter Hall International and Peter Hall, who are major contributors, who have been steadfast supporters of Voiceless, Lush Fresh Handmade Cosmetics, Cortex and Lloyd Vogelman. I saw Joanne Weinberger, who's Lloyd's partner here. I'm not sure if Lloyd is here tonight, Joanne? Not here? Great. And all members, he's a cousin, so I can say that, and all the members of the public who have made donations and given their support throughout the year. Thank you all. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank all of our directors and council members who are in attendance tonight for their time and concern for all sentient beings. I'd also like to thank my wife, Dr. Jean Sherman. Jean, you're sitting right there. I'd like to thank Jean for all the work she's done, especially in founding and chairing the Voiceless Council, which was formed a short while ago. We've got some wonderful members on the Voiceless Council, and Ken Henry and his wife attend all, if not most of the meetings as well. We're now going to see a very short video from Voiceless Ambassador Abby Cornish, who couldn't be here this evening, but wanted to send through her congratulations and was interviewed a few days ago specifically for a short hello to everyone here tonight. So thank you very much for coming, and I'll pass you on to Elaine and Robin for the next round.